I am Pastor Marcus, and welcome to Maximize Your Life. All right, it's good to see you guys once again on a Wednesday night. It's good for you guys who tune in. Thank you guys once again. Thank you to my TGM Bible study crew for coming out tonight. All right, we already had our opening discussion offline. I love to do this. I love to come in. I love to talk to my Bible study crew and see where our minds are. But tonight, what we do at TGM Bible Study, Maximize Your Life, is I highlight things and principles that are highlighted or spoken of, whether indirectly or directly in the Bible. And what I do is I bring them out. I try to put them to use to where we can use them and apply them in our everyday life. And so that's what we do here. And Maximize Your Life. We get biblical principles and we bring them out so that we can apply them to our everyday life. The Bible is not just a book. I believe that the Bible is there to guide us to a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life. So thank you tonight for tuning in. Thank you guys tonight for tuning in. Tonight's lesson is coming from 2 Corinthians chapter 10. Verse 3, 4, and 5. And I want you to say this after me. Say, I've got a win in my mind. Win in my mind. That's right. That is tonight's lesson. So let's go there. Let's go there. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3, 4, and 5. My Bible does read a little bit different. It is not a King James. For those of you who do have King James, you can just follow along silently. Verse number 3. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse number 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not fleshly, but they are mighty powerful through God for the destruction of strongholds. We are destroying imaginations and every high and lofty thing that is raised up against the knowledge and understanding of God, and we are taking every thought, I like that, captive to the obedience of Christ. Amen. All right. I love that. I love that because one thing that the Bible highlights, and I love that the Bible talks about, there are plenty of scriptures that have to do with the mind. Let this mind be in you. As a man thinketh, so is he. All these scriptures of in the mind, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And one thing that the Bible does not shrink away from, and that is the fact that in order to walk with God, we have to understand that it encompasses our mental capacities. All right, and I want to highlight that because a lot of times, I love to say this, and I'll say it before and I'll say it again. A lot of times we highlight the spiritual side of Christianity without discussing the mental side of Christianity or the emotional side of Christianity. And so I want to highlight tonight the mental capacities, because I feel like this, I believe this: if you cannot win in your mind, you cannot win in your life. If you cannot win in your mind, you cannot win in your life. And I'm a firm believer of that. And so initially what I want to start with is upgrade your mind. I want you to say this after me. Say, God, help me to upgrade my thinking. Help me to upgrade my thinking. That's right. What I believe God wants to do in each and every one of us, as stated in Romans chapter 12, verse number 2, it says, be transformed by what? The renewing of your mind. And so then initially what God wants to do is, it is going to be a change in my life. It has to begin where? In my mind. And so what I want to first do is I want to first get us to challenge to change our mind from the coping mindset. What I call the coping mindset is, remember a few weeks ago I talked about how do we grow? How do we grow? How do we progress? And I use the analogy of school. And when you come into the third grade, you learn a lesson, they test you, and then you find the solutions. You learn a lesson, they give you problems, they give you a test, and then you use the lesson, you apply the lesson to find a solution to the problems on the test, right? Yeah. And so through the process of the beginning of the third grade to progress into the fourth grade, what happens is your mind grows. without you recognizing it, right? But it comes through lessons, problems, and finding solutions. And so I want to kind of pinpoint that for when we say, God, help me to upgrade my mindset. Now, when I'm talking about challenging the coping mindset, I want you to understand that life does not give us lessons. Life only gives us problems. Can y'all agree with me on that? Can you feel me on that? See, the difference is in school, they gave you a book filled with different concepts, right, that you learn. Then they teach you the concepts. Then they give you a page of problems, and then you use what you learned in the book to solve the problem. Now watch it, because when we get in life, life does not come with a manual. Life does not come with a book at all, right? But what life does come with is a bunch of what? Problems. Life comes, oh my God, life comes with problems. And so what we do is, with our mindset, we don't consider at all. We don't consider at all that we are supposed to take those problems. Now look, how many of us in here, when we were first faced with problems and you didn't know the solution to the problem, you start learning to do what? To cope with the problem, right? We learn to cope. We do that very well. And we are Christians. We call ourselves Christians. We call ourselves people of God. And when we have problems, right, we immediately think of how to cope with our problems. And so tonight, when we're talking about the mindset, winning in my mind, I want to first challenge this coping mindset, because what we are designed to do, we are not designed to cope. We are designed to overcome. We are designed to conquer. And so what I want us to do is, I want us to shift our thinking from coping with the problem to fixing the problem. Come on, I want you to get it. We only think of how to cope with our problems, but we don't ever consider what else we could do to fix our problems. It never occurred to me to improve my knowledge and understanding of my problem so that I could overcome it. Did you catch what I said? When we talking about God upgrade my thinking, right? When God hands me a problem, and I had to learn this, growth does not happen because I'm in a vacuum, because I'm sitting in the house all day, every day. No, growth happens when I learn to what? Overcome my problems. And most of the time what we do, we don't overcome our problems, we cope with our problems. We drink our problems away, right? We cry about them. We go smoke all the weed. We smoke cigarettes because we're busy coping with our problem. But here's my thing. What if all this time the answer wasn't wait until the problem go away? But what if all this time the answer has been upgrade your thinking? Have you ever, I want us to think about that. Have you ever considered that the thing that you're dealing with right now, the thing that you frustrated with right now, the thing that has been plaguing your life right now, what if the answer is not wait till the problem go away, but what if the answer is upgrade your thinking? So now look, remember I used the analogy, lessons, right? How do you go from a 4th grade to a 5th grade? They give you lessons, they give you problems, and then you use what you learn to find a solution. Now, what happens when you have a problem, but you don't have a lesson to apply to the problem? What you do, you find the lesson to apply. Look. All right, let me say it this way. All right. So maybe I don't feel. We talking about the mind. How do I upgrade my mind? Look, one of the things that plagued my life for a long time, because I have kids that don't live with me, I have child support, right? And so what I had a financial difficulty. Come on, I had a financial difficulty, right? And so initially in my mind, I was thinking there is absolutely no way I can overcome this. Why? Because everything that I had tried did not work. And I want y'all to feel me on that. It did not work. And so for years, I coped with my financial problem. I coped with it. I learned how to live with my financial problem until one day something hit my mind and said, if you don't know the answer, why don't you go somewhere? Come on. Look, everybody else around me is broke. You're not going to find it here. Everybody that I hang out with or talk to is broke. You're not going to find it here. So how about you go somewhere that know a little bit about what you're dealing with and see if you can figure out a different solution to your problem. See, here's the thing. The thing is, all that time I have been coping with my problem. But I never thought that God was trying to get me to upgrade my thinking about my problem. I want you to understand that when you start talking about God upgrade my mind, here's the thing. What if the thing that you are dealing with right now is not to frustrate your life? It's not to agitate your life. It's not to put a stumbling block in your way. It's not to make you cope. But what if what you're dealing with is because God wants you to start thinking about upgrading your mindset? What if God wants to upgrade your mindset? And the way that he does that, we already know how you go from a 4th grade to a 5th grade education. They got to give you problems. So now, why are you mad at God? But oh, come on. See, we want to go to the next level, but we're not ready for it the way that God want to do it. God will put you in a problem, right? And now it becomes your responsibility, right, to upgrade your thinking. And this is what I want to highlight tonight. I want to highlight tonight that where you are in life is a direct result of how you think. I don't know if you believe that or not, but where you are in life right now is a direct result of the way you think. Point blank, period. It is impossible to change any area of your life without first changing your mind. I want you to get that. There is no way to change your life without first changing your mind. And I believe that this is the first work that God has to do inside of us, right? What God has to do when we first meet God is he has to get us to think different. He has to get us to think different, because the way that we have been programmed to live our life is unhealthy. The way we have been programmed to live our life is sometimes dysfunctional. And maybe it's not everything. Maybe it's just one specific thing, right, in your life that you got to upgrade your thinking about. But most of us, you know what we do? We sit around with what I call idle minds. That's what Mom used to call idle mind. They say this in church back in the day. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. We have the greatest tool on earth and we never upgrade it. Picture this: we go to church every Sunday. You want God to bless your spirit, but where's your mind? Come on, I want us to understand this in here. Where is your mind? Where's your mind? We have the greatest tool. What good is it for me to have a screwdriver and I need a screwdriver to work on my car, but I never go get the screwdriver? What good is it to have? What good is it to have a mind if you'll never use it? And the thing is that we don't understand in our lives a lot of the things that we're dealing with, a whole lot of things that we struggle with, battle with, is because our mindset is completely wrong. And instead of us going to find the right solutions, we coping with it. You living with something that you wasn't even supposed to be designed to live with, but you so ready to cope. I want us to understand right now, I'm talking about when in your mind. It's impossible to change any area of your life without first changing the mind. So if God wants to elevate my life, if he wants to bless me to be successful, his first work is to elevate my process of thought. You want to know why you got so many problems? Maybe God is trying to upgrade your level of thinking. Maybe God is trying to upgrade the way you look at problems. Maybe God is trying to upgrade your perception of life. All right. So now, what do we do? Number one, and this is kind of different tonight, but we're going there. I want us to all evaluate your thinking. What do you think about the most? What do you think about the most? You know what? I've had quite a few neighbors in the apartment that I live in now. And one of the things that I find very amazing to me is that most of the neighbors that I have, it seems like all they think about is getting high. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking nobody that smoke. No disrespect. But my thing is, what else do you think about? Because if you smoking weed when I leave to go to work, I come home and you still smoking. I go outside to take my trash out and you still smoking. Here's my question to us tonight. What have you been thinking about? What do you think about the most? And you know what? You can tell what you think about the most by what's dominating in your life right now. Here's the harsh reality. The harsh reality is that if whatever's winning in your mind is actually winning in your life, that's the harsh reality. If it's winning in your mind, it's winning in your life. And here's another thing. One of the things I do, my kids, they listen to hip-hop music. Yes, I'm a preacher. I let my kids listen to hip-hop music. And here's the thing. I don't have nothing against hip-hop. They have some nice beats. But here's what I want to highlight. I want to highlight that hip-hop is a vehicle to the mind. It only processes information to the mind, the stuff that you listen to. Here's my question. What do you think about the most? It's important to evaluate your thinking, because whatever you think about the most is what you do, and it is what you become. What you have been feeding your mind is what ends up turning out to process in your life. This is what happened to me. I'm a preacher, yes, and I like hip hop. So I used to get trained. I was getting trained by one of my coworkers, right, when I first started working, and he listened to hip hop all day. Say, does this hip hop bother you? No, it don't bother me. I listen to it. Now, we talking about sitting in the truck. We go do some work. We get back in the truck. This is 8 to 10 hours out of a day. I'm listening to all hip hop, right? All right. Now, I ain't got nothing against that, because, you know, I like hip hop. Some of the music be jamming, some of it not so much. But here's the point. The point is that I didn't realize it. But over time, after 2 weeks of listening to all hip hop music, that's it. Only hip hop. When I get in my personal car, I start wanting to listen to hip hop. Right? I start wanting to listen to it. Yeah, it bump. And then watch this. When people start talking to me, I start noticing my responses was hip-hop responses. And I'm thinking, like, wait a minute. Why am I talking like that? Like, that's not me. And then I had to trace that, and I traced it all the way back. See, you don't understand it, but what you expose your mind to, your mind is digesting that. This is why I say it's really important about the people you hang around. You know, I'm not one of those super saved Christians. No, you can't watch this on TV. No, I'm saying this. I want you to be aware and mindful. If you don't want to go there, you shouldn't allow your mind to stay there. Come on. I want you to understand that what you think, and here's Tony Robbins. He said like this: where your focus goes, your energy flows. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So look, so if you sitting around reading sex novels all day, right? Don't be surprised when you start feeling some type of way, because this is what you've been feeding your mind. I want us to understand this. If the only way that things are going to be different or be better in your life is first you have to conceptualize it in your mind. Now we're talking about 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 through 5. Whatever you're feeding your mind, I want you to notice that there is a battle in your mind for your mind. I'm going to say that again. There is a battle in your mind for your mind. Now, here's the thing. I want you to highlight this too, because look, most of the time we blame the devil for stuff, right? The devil won't stop bothering me. The devil won't stop blah, blah, blah. A lot of times, guess what? It ain't the devil, sweetheart. It ain't the devil that's bothering you. You know what it is? It's flesh. And here's what happens. Because your flesh have natural proclivities, right? Because you have natural tendencies, then all the devil got to do is distract your mind with what your flesh like. So here's what I say. I say this. Look, I say it like this, that the devil and the flesh is working tag team to keep you off focus, right? That's what the devil been doing to me this week. They work tag team to keep you off focus. So as soon as you start to focus on you trying to train your mind, or as soon as you start getting good thoughts in your head, the first thing that the devil does is he throws something in front of you that he knows is going to catch your attention. Why? Because your flesh like it. Right? And what we end up doing a lot of times, we don't recognize it, but we losing the small battles, and by losing the small battles, you end up losing the big battle. One of the things that happened to me in my life, it had come to a point, I had got like 27, 28 in my life, and I realized that my life was not where I wanted my life to be. I realized, man, come on, I want y'all to feel me here. My life was not where I wanted my life to be. I realized that at 27, I realized I didn't have the money in the bank that I wanted to have. I wasn't happy like I wanted to be. I wasn't doing the things I wanted to. And you know what? When I traced it back to this. I had to come to the conclusion that I was losing the small battles. And what are the small battles? Here's my question tonight. There is a battle in your mind for your mind. Here's the question: who's winning? What's winning? Here's what I discovered. I discovered that a lot of times that I wasn't winning, but my flesh was winning. I would win sometimes. But look, to the magnitude that I wanted my life to go in a different direction, I wasn't winning enough. Are you following what I'm saying? I wasn't winning enough to change my financial status. Come on, I was so busy losing my flesh battles in my head. And look, I want you to understand this, because a lot of times we overlook the battles that we have to win, that we have to fight in our mind. But look, if you can't beat it in your mind, you're not gonna beat it in your actions. Ultimately, in the mind, it starts in the mind and it works out in the actions, right? And if you don't watch that, actions turn into behavior. And then behavior turns into direction. I want you to get it. It starts right here in the mind. So if you don't win in your mind, you're not going to ever win in your checkbook. That's what TDJC said like that. If you don't win in your mind, you ain't going to win in your finances. I want you to get it. If you don't win in your mind, you're not going to win in your behavior, in your actions at all. And you're going to wake up and you're going to realize, my life is not where it wants to be. I know I have the right kinds of things going on up here, but why is my life not where I want it to be? Why am I not doing the things that I feel like I should be doing right now? And you know what? I realized I was losing the small battles, and in losing so many small battles, it had taken a big toll in my life. We're talking about win in your mind. Why is it important to win in your mind? It's important to win in your mind because if you can't win, it's like I said, if you can't win in your mind, you're going to always lose in your life. I want us to highlight that. Your flesh works only to satisfy itself, and the devil knows this, so he only works to distract your mind with your body. Oh, man, you know what? That's so true. That is so true. He only works to distract your mind with how your body feels. How many of you decided that you was going to lose weight at one point in your life? In your mind, right? But in the battle, we talking about the battle. We talking about win in your mind. But in the battle, you lost the battle at 2 o'clock in the morning when you wanted some ice cream, right? And now you lose that battle. 2 days later, you lose the battle again, right? With a Snickers bar. Come on, I want you to feel me. Look, after a week of losing every couple days, right? What have you really gained by the end of the week? Are y'all following me? What have you really gained by the end of the week? You lost, you losing, you really losing. One day you're gonna look up and realize I'm not where I want to be. And just as I said, here's a harsh reality. Whatever is winning in your mind is not just winning in your mind, but actually is winning in your life. I had to look at myself and say, you know what? I got to get control first. If I'm going to control my life, I got to control my mind. Do you think it's possible to control the thoughts that come in your head? Anybody? You think it's possible? You don't? I say this. I think it's not possible to control what comes in your head, but it is possible to control what stays in your head. Yeah, the thoughts gonna come. The distractions gonna come. Here's my question. My question to you tonight: what's winning? What's winning? What's winning? You can't stop things from coming to in your face. You can't stop things from coming in your mind. But what's winning? Are your goals winning? Or what you're trying to accomplish winning? Is your point of place of success? Is that where you try to go? Is that winning? Or are you losing that battle? Are you losing that battle to self-gratification? Are you losing that battle to what you feel like doing right now? Are you losing that battle to, I don't feel like getting up today. I don't feel like being a Christian today, so I'm going to cut somebody out, right? I want you to get it. Look, who's winning in your mind? Who's winning? Who's winning? Here's what I love this analogy. It's like you got the angel on one side. Wait, you know what? Let me take that back now. Forget the angel. Okay, I got a wolf, a good wolf on one side. I got a bad wolf on the other side, right? I say, man, what's up, man? I'm good, man. It's like I got one wolf on one side. I got another wolf on the other side. I got the good wolf on one side. I got the bad wolf on the other side. Brother man say, well, who's winning? You know my response? Whichever one I feed the most. Did y'all get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Then look, who's winning? Who's winning? Whichever one you feed the most. Now look, I want you to look over the habits. What are you feeding your mind? What do you feed your mind? What do you feed your mind from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep? What have your mind? I want you to get this, that a mental diet is just as important as a physical diet. Your mental diet is just as important as your physical diet. If you consuming a whole bunch of junk during the course of the week, don't expect your mind to be operating on the level 10 because it's not. What are you feeding your mind? What is your mind? Have you ever considered that? What have I been feeding my mind? What have I been feeding my mind? You know, some people, they watch the porn. Yeah, I said porn. Some people watch all kind of crazy stuff. And you know what? Look, no disrespect. You watch whatever you want to watch. My question to you, though, is whichever one you feed the most, that's the one that's going to win the most. So here's my thing. If you really want to win, if you really want to be successful, you really want to see your blessing, if you really want God to take you to that next place, your next level, which one are you feeding? I think, you know what, a lot of times we miss it because we feel like that God is going to kill us for the little small percentage of what we do that's wrong. My thing is, you're not doing enough of what is right. So you're going to always lose if you're not doing enough of what is right. If you're not feeding your mind positive thoughts, as soon as a negative thought comes, you ain't got nothing to fight with. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? We talking about win in your mind. What I had to do for my financial problem, right? We going back to that. What I had to do is I had to get around some influences that knew what to do with their money. And I didn't have no influences in my life. So what? I had to go buy some books. Come on. I had to go get some audio programming. Because I need somebody that's going to talk some money sense in my head. And see, this is the problem. The problem is we steady feeding our mind with a bunch of junk, and we wondering why we not overcoming. You never going to overcome being broke if you talking to somebody that's broke. Come on. You ain't going to never have a happy marriage if you talking to somebody that ain't happy in their marriage. Right. You got to get around somebody that got something so they can put something in your head. So this way, when the stupid thoughts come, now how does God elevate our thinking? Look. When you get grown, and this is what they didn't tell you in school, right? This is what they didn't tell you in school. What they didn't tell you in school is that when life gives you a problem, that the lesson to the problem is not going to always be in front of you. Sometimes you got to go search for it. Come on, I want you to get that. Sometimes you got to go search for it. If you want to win in your mind, sometimes you're going to have to go search for the right sources so you can apply them lessons. You got to go look for them lessons, go search them lessons out so that you can overcome that problem. You are not supposed to be coping with problems. You're supposed to be overcoming your problems. All right, let's not hold you too long. It's 26 minutes. The difference is in the thinking. Here's the question. What's the difference between the millionaires and the broke folks? It ain't race. You said it. It ain't race. It ain't because they background. It ain't where they came from. It's all in the mind. It's what they think about. It's what they think. Come on, I want you to understand it. It's what they think, what they've been processing in their head. Right? All right. So here we go. Here's the thing. I want us to understand to train our minds. He says, and I didn't even touch the text. Man, I want to touch the text, but I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here because we almost done. I'm going to go here. Look. First of all, he highlights the battle in the mind. We don't war with physical weapons, but the weapons of our warfare are not carnal but mighty through God. And he immediately highlights the battle that takes place in our mind. Right. All right. So I want you to get it. I want you to understand that we have to learn to train our mind. He says, bring every thought under the captivity to the obedience of Christ. I want you to get it. When we talk about winning your mind, we have to learn to train our thoughts. Right? Okay. Now, how does Paul say it? And I'm moving quick because our time is running. Lord, there's so much more that I wanted to get to. But look, all right. Train your mind. Train your mind. All right. So when the bad things come, Minister Marcus, what do I think about? When the bad things happen, Minister Marcus, what do I think about? When I'm struggling with something, Minister Marcus, what do I do? How do I control my thoughts? How do I, what do I fixate on? My thing is, where your focus goes, your energy flows. What does he say in Philippians? He says, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are good report, whatsoever things that pull you forward, pull you higher. Think on these things. It's not saying that bad stuff is not going to happen, but we're not focused on it. We're not sitting around thinking about it to cope with it, but we're sitting around thinking about how do I overcome it. And this is the thing tonight in this lesson, what I want us to get. I want us to understand that there is going to come a time that the thoughts are going to come in your head, but you have to decide, in my mind, I'm going to win today in my mind. I'm going to win tonight in my mind. I'm not picking up this phone in the name of Jesus. I'm not doing it. I'm going to win in my mind. And you're going to start to realize, once you start to be able to discipline and train those thoughts, you're going to see your life. And you know what? If you could just get your mind. So a man thinking in his heart. Man, and you know what? I think a lot of times we miss it. Whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are good report, whatsoever things are honest. If you would focus on the positive things, the positive would overcome the negative things. And I don't think we understand the power of positive thinking. We don't enough surround ourselves with the good influence that when the bad influences come, we don't have nothing to fight those influences off with. So here's my question tonight. If you have the power to upgrade your life, when are you going to use it? If you have the power to change your life and change the direction of your life and upgrade your finances and be healthier and be wise and be more successful, when are you going to use it? When are you going to upgrade your mind? Tonight, I'm talking about mental health. Guess what? Being a Christian is not just about running around the church shouting, but we got to understand that being a Christian is being a whole, complete person. God cannot send you to a place of success if you have an immature mind. God is not going to lift you up to be a CEO of no company if you got an immature mind. We got to learn to upgrade our thinking, and it starts with discipline the mind. Think about things that are productive and not destructive. So I can leave you with anything tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're talking about the mind. I didn't even get to have the stuff that was in my notes, but thank you anyway for tuning in. I hope something that I said really ministered or blessed you, kind of got you to think in a different way. Thank you, my Facebook Live crew, for tuning in. Thank you, my Facebook Live crew, for those of you who have tuned in, and for those of you who are going to watch this. Follow me on Instagram. Follow our church on Instagram at @the_God_movement. And you can follow me at _minister Marcus. So with that, thank you. We will be right back here next Wednesday night. Hope to see you. Hope to see you guys. God bless.
Amen. Amen.
All right.